Okay, so in this video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add an alert. So a little bit of more interaction in terms of what's going to be happening with this button. So right now, if you click on the button, it's just saying you are pressing me in the highlighted state, right? So if I press down and I hold, it gives me that. If I let go, it gives me the normal state of the button. And so what we can do is we can give it an alert. So we can pass in an action that will trigger an alert. So let's go ahead and let's build that out. The first thing we have to do is jump back into our view controller and actually select the button. So we got view, which we're getting the view here. So we're selecting view, then we're getting the button. So that's this button right here. And then what we're doing is we're going to add a target. So if we jump into the documentation, you go to UI button, and you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that you can respond to button taps here, right? And you can connect a button to your action method using the add target action for controlled events. So if we click on that, we're going to see some ObjectiveC code here. So let's go ahead and just select that, and we'll put this into our code here, and we'll translate this over. So we'll do a add target, and it's going to need a target. And I'm just going to use self as the target, so this view controller. And then it's going to need an action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in the alert controller. I'm going to trigger the alert controller action. And then we're going to do it for controlled events. And it's going to be for, let's see what controlled events we can use. UI controlled events, we can drag. Right here, let's do touch up inside. And so touch up inside will, let's take a look at that, a touch up event in control where the finger is inside the bounds of the control. So really what that means is if you tap on it and then you let go, it should trigger an event. So it should trigger, not trigger an event, it should on that event trigger an action. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and create our action. So it's going to be the alert controller. Okay, let's close that out, and then let's look up alerts within our documentation. So we're looking for a class. We have UI alert. Oh, that's not the right one. UI alert view. This one, I believe, has been depreciated. So as you can see, iOS 9, this is no longer recommended. So you see all this crossed out here. Now, if you're developing before that, you could probably still include that. So if you're developing iOS probably 8 and below, I believe it's actually 7 and below. I think 8 starts to take into account the UI alert controller. I could be wrong, but you want to look that up. So I would recommend if you're developing for iOS 9 and above, use the UI alert controller. So what we'll do is let's scroll down a little bit and see how this is used. So we're configuring. So creating an alert controller, I'm going to click on that. You can create it using the alert controller with title, then you pass in a message and a preferred style. So let's take this ObjectiveC here and let's add that in as a comment to make this a little easier. And what we'll do is we'll create an alert controller, and then we'll pass in the UI alert controller. And we're going to do it with a title. So the first thing you're going to pass through is the title, of course. So we'll go ahead and title this alert. So I'll just make it something simple. And then we want the message to pass through. So this is the alert message. And then last but not least, we need the preferred style. And you can see that here. So we got the alert controller and we got the title. So right after this, you need to pass a string, and then you need to pass a message, and then you need to pass the preferred style. So the title is a string, the message is a string, and the preferred style needs to be from a constant. So the alert controller style constant. So if we take a look at this documentation right here, and we scroll down. Okay, so alert controller with message, preferred style, and we click on this. It should give us either an action sheet or action style alert. And we'll just use the UI alert controller style alert. So this is like the normal one you would see if you're familiar with iOS and using iOS. So I'll just put the title down there, make that easier to see. All right, so now that we've gone ahead and we've created that controller, we have to show it. And let's see how the documentation recommends showing this controller. So if we scroll back up there to where we originally grabbed our Objective-C, and scroll down just a little bit. Let's see, we're going through creating it and the actions here. Let's see if maybe we go back. Let's look that up. UI alert controller. There we go. This is the Objective-C I was looking for. So right here you can see that the last step is we need to present the view controller. So if we take a look at presenting the view controller, let's go ahead and just put that up there. It presents the view controller module. All right, so that's exactly what we need, just like what the documentation says. So we'll copy this and let's put this in comments so we can see how that translates as well. So this starts by calling self. So we're gonna do the same thing. We'll call self, present view controller, and then we're gonna pass in the alert. So this alert is gonna be this alert that we created right here. So alert, controller, animated. So instead of yes, we wanna pass through true. So in Objective-C, yes is true and no is false. But in Ruby, true is true and false is false. So we're just gonna put true in there. And then on completion, we'll just leave that as nil. So this should show our alert if we click on that button. So let's test to see if that works. All right, so we do receive an error. Let's see what that error is. So load view undefined method button for no method error. Okay, so let's try setting the button as an instance. So instance, and add the button there. Let's clear this up and try it again. You know what? When I created it as an instance, I need to make sure that I am passing it through as an adder accessor. So adder accessor button, and let's see if this works. It should work now. Okay, it did start up, didn't crash. All right, so if I click on the button, it gives me the alert title, and this is alert message. So I can't actually dismiss this right now. I might be able to if I click on no. So what I'll do is I'll exit out of that, and then let's go ahead and add in some actions here that will allow us to go ahead and dismiss that. So what we'll do is we'll look at this code right here, and you'll see that there is a UI alert action, and then it passes through an alert title or action title, a style, and a handler. So let's copy that, and then what we'll do is we'll just paste that into there, and let me move this over, and we'll comment that out. So what we'll do is I'm gonna have this be the OK action, and this OK action will be an alert, a UI alert action. And let's take a look at this to make sure that we're doing this correctly. So we have alert action. You can do an action with title, as you can see here, and then it's gonna have a style and a handler. So we'll do action with title, we'll give it the title, and we'll just have it say OK, and then it's gonna need a style, and it's gonna need a handler. So handler. Let's move this on to another line so we can see it. Okay, and so what can we put in there? So we have a style. It's going to be UI alert action let's make sure that we got this correct. Action with style handler. UI alert action style. It's going to be default, cancel, or destructive. So what we'll do is I'll just leave this as default for my OK style. And then the handler, it'll be nil. So it won't do anything. Hopefully it'll just dismiss it. So if we try this again, and okay, so it doesn't show our OK action because we haven't added the action to the alert controller. So to do that, let's go back and see how it was done within Objective-C. So if we go back one more time, we see this code here, and there's the alert add action. So what we do is, again, make a comment here, and then we'll do the alert controller add action, much like you would do with add subview. And then you're going to pass in that action. It'll be OK action. And let's now redo this, and we'll do rake, and we should now see that action in there. Okay, and all right, we see the OK button, and if we click it, it just dismisses it. All right, let's add a cancel action as well. So what we'll do is we'll do a cancel action, and then this will be another UI alert action, action with title, and we'll do the same thing, and we'll do a cancel, and then style. Let's use a different style here. So alert style. Oops. So we'll go back here, default style, paste that in there, and let's use style cancel style. Okay, and then oops, I'll put that in the wrong place. And then we'll use a handler. We'll do nothing, so nil. And then we're going to take this, we'll copy it, and then we'll use that for the cancel action. Great. Now if we go ahead and restart that, we should get both the actions there. Button. Cool. So we got the cancel and the OK. And you'll notice for the cancel, it's a little bit more bolded. So if you click on OK, it removes it. If you click on cancel, it removes it because nothing's happening with that handler. Now, let's say that we want to actually do something on that handler. So what you need to do is, if you open up the action here, you'll see that we need to pass through a block of sorts. So to do that, and actually let's demonstrate what that would look like if you just tried passing the action here. So on alert, on the OK action, if you press that, we want it to do OK response. And we'll go ahead and we'll create that down here. Define OK response. And what we'll do is we'll just have it put something into the terminal, and we'll just put U pressed OK. And so we'll do that, and let's exit, and you'll see exactly what I mean by you need to pass through a block. So rake, it's presenting it, it's building it, click on that, click on cancel, does nothing, click on OK, it crashes. So if we open this up and we scroll here, we'll see that it expected proc with 1 argument and got no arguments. So what we do, in fact, it didn't get a block at all. We passed through an action. So what we need to do is create a new proc, okay? And then we're gonna send through an object. And then we're gonna pass in our method. And that will work. Now let's kind of go into this a little bit. So if we go into our alert action, we will see that the handler needs a block to execute, and the block has no return value, but it should take an action object as its only parameter. As you can see, we're passing the object as the parameter, and then we're passing in the actual action that we want it to take. So you can do multiple things in here, and what we're doing is just putting the you pressed OK within there. So now let's go ahead and rake, and it'll rebuild, and it should, when we click on OK, give us you pressed OK. All right, so let's do it again, and we did a couple times, you can clearly see that within your terminal. So that is just a quick overview of adding alerts to your UI. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.